Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I'm Nika and I make book related videos in my booktube channel Pretty Little Bibliophile. And as you can see, I am back after a really long time. I took a short break. I think it must have been for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I do have to say that I have returned refreshed and with lots of expectations and hopes for the future. The reason I took a break, well, there are actually two reasons that I took this break. Firstly, I got my braces, so I was very conscious to be in front of the camera, and besides it was very uncomfortable to talk with them on, so I wasn't ready to film anything new. And secondly, I just needed a creative break. I have been creating these videos every week for like almost a year now, and I thought that it's time I took a break just to let my creative juices flow again. So like the title of the video says, this is going to be my February wrap up and also my February haul. I'm doing this new thing every month this year where I'll combine the wrap up and haul together so that it stays for the sake of my memory. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive right in. Firstly, I'll go with my haul and then I'll go with the wrap up. I'll also include the timestamps down below so that you can go directly to whatever bit you are interested in. So yeah. Alright, so the first two books, the first book mail that came to me in February were these two amazing books. The first one is a P.G. Wodehouse pick-me-up, The Smile That Wins. Now I have not read any P.G. Wodehouse so far, so I am excited to read it. And when you are starting out with a new author, I think that it's great if you pick out a short book so that you can get a taste. It's a taster, a taste of the author's writing. Then I also got a Song of a Captive Bird by Jasmine Dasnik. Now I got both of these books from my secret bookshelf, the book club which I'm part of, from their website. I also actually made a video where I took you online shopping with me, so I'll make sure to link that up here or here, I'm not sure, so you can check that out as well. And yeah, really excited to read these books, and I think this one is a really stunning and beautiful cover. Moving on, the next book is Coincidence of Spice by Brian Landis. Now this one is actually a review copy that was sent to me from Red Door Book Publishers. So I'm really very excited. I was very excited when I received this book and I really liked reading it. This is sort of a spy novel, but then it's got brilliant elements of everything. We've got these two people who are both spies. They're husband and wife actually, and this is actually the third book in the series. I have not read the first two, so I do have to say that it doesn't really matter. I think this can be read as a standalone, but then you don't get to see the backstory of the two characters. But yeah, I really did enjoy reading this book. I also wrote a blog post and an Instagram post where I talk more about what I felt about this book, and obviously I'll talk more about this book later on in the video. Then my story loot box from August 2020 finally came, and I'm just so at that point I was just pissed off, so I won't say much about it, but I definitely won't be buying any story loot stuff from now on at all. I got Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angels, I guess, Janella Angels, and it's got a wonderful premise. If you like the night circus, I think you might enjoy this. Is set in a circus as well, as far as I know about it. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Really quickly, the next book that I got is from Rolly Books, The Last Gathering by Munshi Faizuddin. This is translated by Atayr Faruqi, and this is also the first book that I read in March, so I really loved this book. Once again, I hope you stay tuned for the next month's wrap up and haul video where I'll talk more about this, definitely. But spoiler alert, I loved it. It's non-fiction, by the way, definitely recommend. Then came my most anticipated mail, and I was just so grateful to Bloomsbury that they sent this to me. And this is this amazing copy of A Court of Silver Flames, which is, you could say, the 5th book in the Ekotar series, and I really loved it. I read it in just 2 days or 3 days, and I have to say that after a certain point I was just flipping through the pages because it was just so good. But yeah, they also sent me some amazing goods. They sent me a bookmark and tote. You know what, I'll show them to you. So they sent me this beautiful bookmark. I thought they had forgotten, but it came in a separate package. So a nice bookmark. I unfortunately did not get to use it while I was reading the book. And they also sent me this amazing tote bag, as you can see. Untamed Power, Untamed Passion. Just a second. Here you go, which I think is really cool, really stunning with the logo at the back. I'm kind of confused if I should use it or not because it's so good. I want to preserve it, and at the same time, of course, I want to show it off to people, you know. So yeah, that's that. And then moving on, let's talk about another review copy that made its way to me, and that is 6 1/3 Acres, which is again another translated work. This is by Fakir Mohan Senapati. This was sent to me by Rupa Publication, and unfortunately I haven't had the time to pick it up yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm also reading a lot of Indian and translated works in March and April, so this is going to be the best time to read it. It has been applauded by the Indian Express as one of the greatest novels of the Indian pantheon, as revelatory and powerful today as in its own time. It's been translated from the Oriya by Lilavati Mohapatra, Paul St. Pierre, and K.K. Mohapatra. So yeah, really excited to read it, and I also think it's very aesthetic, the cover, and then there's this sort of, I don't know, are these end pages? I'm not sure if we call these end pages in case of paperbacks and not hardcovers. So yeah, really excited to read this one. And then I also ordered 2 books for myself from Amazon. The first one is The Mountains Sing, and I have to say that I'm really very excited to read it. I am actually hoping to start buddy reading it with a couple of my friends from Bookstagram very soon. So I guess by the time this video goes up, the buddy read might already have started. But if you have read this book, do let me know what you think. And at the same time, I am actually also reading, where is the book? I'm also reading On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, which is again also by a Vietnamese author. So after I read both of them, I really hope to learn more about Vietnam history, because you know how it is. We didn't really learn we didn't learn anything about it, except maybe the dates in our own history books. So yeah, I'd definitely like to know more about Vietnamese history, apart from what I will obviously be learning from these 2 books. So this is this. And then I also got Mayflies by Andrew O'Hagan. Now I actually got this book because it gave me a little life vibes. This book right here. So Mayflies gave me a little life vibes. But yeah, I'm really excited to read it. I'm actually hoping to buddy read it with Rainier from Rainier Books. I'll link his channel down below. I might actually buddy read with a friend, but maybe in April, not in March definitely. So I'll definitely let you know more about this. And yeah, it's also very aesthetic, I think. The simplicity, and I think this is going to be a book that makes me cry for sure. And lastly, the book that I bought from my friend Jyotsna, because she was unhauling these, is the book Ikigai by Yukari Mitsuhashi. So sorry. You know, when you're wearing braces, you can't pronounce the S as well. I mean, I can't. I don't know about others, but for me, pronouncing the S word is a sort of struggle. So yeah, I am hoping to read more. Well, not more, but I really am hoping to read this book as a whole, and I think I might pick it up as sort of a bedtime read, something like a book that I read a chapter of every night before I go to sleep, because I think this is going to be a very calming, very positive book, which I'll enjoy and will put me to a peaceful sleep, I think. So yeah, that's that for all of the new books I got in February. Now let's move on to my actual wrap up. So the first book that I read and finished in February was When the Nights Agrees to Speak to Me by Ananda Devi. Now this one is actually translated from French to English by Kazim Ali, and this is actually a review copy that was sent to me by HarperCollins India, and I'm really grateful. This is a collection of poetry which I really liked. I also I rated it very highly on Goodreads. But if you guys have been following me on Instagram, you'll know that I have stopped giving the star ratings because I just don't feel like it. I would rather write the paragraphs about what I genuinely feel about the book, what I liked, what I did not like, and what could have been better, all of that. So yeah, this is a book that I really enjoyed. If you're looking for women authors or translated literature, I think this one is going to be a very beautiful book. The poems are also really gives you the kind of vibes, the kind of vibes I got from this collection of poetry was the kind similar to the kind of vibe that I get when I'm watching these Korean vlogs, very aesthetic, very minimal, very peaceful, calming, sort of meditation like, in a way. So I know that was a very rambly review, but all of that is just to say that I really enjoyed this poetry collection. I would recommend you to pick it up and really slowly read it, soak in it, and just enjoy this book. Then I picked up the next book I actually picked up was for a class from my college, where we are reading about the Progressive Writers Association and the writers associated with that. And the book that we all read for it really, is Angare, which is a collection of 9 stories and a play. And the authors include Sajid Zahir, Rashid Jahan, Ahmad Ali, and Mahmoud Zafar. And these are a collection of stories. The stories really deal with certain societal issues that are very progressive in their view, and as a result, this was banned when it first came out in 1932. If I'm remembering correctly, yeah, it came out in 1932. So okay, so I think it was really good. It talked a lot about the situation of women in those times, the hypocrisy of religious figures, how they misuse religion for their own purpose, everything like that. And obviously it struck in the minds of a certain few people, of course, no wonder it was banned. But I think it was a very good collection that dealt with issues. And some of the issues, especially women related and even religion related for that matter, are really relatable even today, especially in the Indian society. So I think this was a really good book. I think you all should definitely read it once again if you're looking for Indian and Pakistani literature, or even South Asian, the Indian subcontinent literature. I think this one is a wonderful book, because it talks about issues which were prominent then, issues which are prominent now, relatable even today. This book has aged well, but I can't really say if it's in a good way or a bad way, because it's sad that all of these issues are still issues in the 21st century. So yeah, really love this book, definitely recommend. The next book was again another book I read for a class, and it has been in my TBR for a really long time, so I'm really happy that I finally got to it. And it is The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje. And I'm reading this for an Asian Canadian literature paper, and I have to say that apart from the obvious themes that I have to go through, because since I'm reading this book for that paper, the writing in this book was simply stunning. It follows basically 4 characters who are living in this villa just at the end of the Second World War, and it's a different world for sure, and we get to know about all of their stories. And I shouldn't say 4 characters, there are rather 5 characters, because these 4 people and the house, the villa that they are in, I think that the villa is also a character in its own right. It's seen so much, it's got so much history in itself. So I guess I'm rambling once again, but I think you should definitely read this. And in the center of it, there is a beautiful love story. I wouldn't say that the love story is the main focus of this book, because I didn't read it in that way, but the love story is again very beautiful, very angsty, very frustrating at some points, but it's a beautiful book. If you read it, I'm sure you'll end up underlining half of the book because of the way it has been portrayed, and the imagery is so vivid, because I was imagining being in a desert, being in the villa, being in the mine-riddled fields, everything. It was just so stunning, really beautiful. And I'm actually yet to watch the movie. I've watched it a long time ago, which featured Ralph Fiennes, I think, yeah, his name, Lord Voldemort, So I watched it a long time ago. I was obviously very young to understand the nuances, but I remember I really liked watching the cinematography and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book again. So the next 3 books that I read, I've got my journal right here, are actually audiobooks that I listened to on Storytel, and I read them on occasion of the Valentine's Day, that period, because I was in the romantic mood and I needed something romantic, especially by Indian authors, just so it becomes a bit more relatable. Alright, so the first book I read was Love in Pink City, and then I read Love Bites, and lastly Love Guru. Now these are actually rather short stories than novels, so I finished them in one day in a sitting, and I really loved them. I basked in the aftermath of reading these short stories, because they were just so sweet and left on such a happy note, and yet they had such important lessons to impart that I think it was they were all very good, and I would definitely recommend you to check them out. I also have a list of all the books I'm excited to read, listen to, audiobooks I'm excited to listen to on Storytel, so I'll definitely link that video so that you can check that out as well, and see for yourself, because I think the variety on Storytel is really good. And like me being a person who has used both Audible and Storytel, I do think that Storytel is much of a better alternative than Audible, just because it's much more affordable and the books available there are just as good, and especially because they are also releasing audiobooks which are written in various regional languages of India, which is not something you can see elsewhere. So I also have found Assamese books on Storytel. If you guys don't know, I am an Assamese, I am from Assam, so I was really excited and really happy to see that. So again, I'll link that video so you can definitely check it out. Then the next book I read was Serpent and Dove by Shalvi Mahurin, and I have been hoping and waiting to read this for a really long time. This is a fantasy, enemies to lovers, and marriage of convenience. Now these two are tropes that I really like, and I've come across the enemies to lovers trope in, of course, The Cruel Prince, but that was too YA for me, and right now in this phase, in this stage of life, I have become a person who prefers to read more adult fiction, everything adult rather than just YA. So I thought that Serpent and Dove was a really good book, and it dealt with so many other issues. We have this is a forbidden romance, by the way, because we have a witch who has to get married to her enemy, who is basically this guy Reed, who is a witch hunter. So the premise was really interesting, and it set me off. I really loved it, and I think it was a 5-star read for me. And this month, in March, I am actually reading the sequel, which is Blood and Honey, right? Yes, Blood and Honey, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually savoring it, going a bit slow because things have been kind of busy for me on the college front, on the university front, so I've been kind of slow in reading, but I am definitely enjoying it, and I think I'm going to finish the sequel in March and hope that the last book in this trilogy comes out really soon, so that I can get to that as well. So yeah, okay, moving on. The next book that I read, which I was talking to you about in my haul, is Coincidence of Spies by Brian Landis. Now in this book we follow these two characters. They are husband and wife, and they both work for the British intelligence, and this is not modern day, by the way. This is 1970s, I think. Just let me check. 1980, yeah. So 1980s Poland, and then again back to the UK, England, for instance, and I really liked it. I think this was really good. Once again, there are so many nuances to this book. Apart from the spy angle, we see this amazing companionship between these two characters. The politics of this world was again very interesting, and I do have to say that the author did quite a bit of research in this book, because so many things were actually inspired from or actual real events. Oh my god, I cannot speak today. So yeah, like I said, so many events that were in this book were either inspired from real events or actual real events, which the author has tried to intertwine with the narrative, and I thought it was really good. Yeah, this again also deals with, which I think is really apt, since I'm filming this in March, I am really thinking about this. The wife, I forgot her name really, Julia, right? So the guy is named Thomas and the wife is Julia, and so Julia has to face a lot of sexist issues at the workplace, because it's the 80s and she's working in this really highly male dominated spy network world. So I thought this was really interesting, and I think you can definitely pick it up Yes, this is the third book in a series, but I don't think it is very necessary that you need to read book 1 and book 2. I could still understand the bit of it because the author has done really well. He includes the sort of like backstory in a line or two just after saying that particular term, so that you know what he is talking about, since this is a sequel, a third book in a series. So yeah, really liked this book. I would definitely recommend you to pick it up if you're looking for something in the thread of, you know, political suspense thriller, something like that. Then this is the apt book for you. Then the next book that I read and really loved, I could rate this 10 out of 5 stars if I could, and infinite stars if I could, and it was A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas, who is absolutely my favorite. And I was just so happy, so excited when I got the email that I was selected for the block tour for this book by Bloomsbury India. Let me show you how much I've marked, you know, with the highlighter. Can you see the orange bits? That's how much I loved this book, and I have to say that I really loved it. Okay, so what is it about this? Okay, since this is the 5th book in the series, we follow different characters from the original ones, which are Farah and Resent. In this book, we follow Nesta and Cassian, and Nesta is the sister to Farah, the oldest sister among the Archeron sisters, and Cassian is Rhys's friend, but they're more like brothers. So we follow them as they come to terms with the mating bond. Nesta comes to terms with the mating bond, and how Nesta deals with the PTSD that she has suffered from all the events that happened with Highburn, the Cauldron, and everything. And I think this was very wonderful, and I just really loved how the relationship between Nesta and Cassian, like I said, I cannot pronounce my S very well, so you have to bear that. So Nesta and Cassian, their relationship, how Nesta's relationship with other characters, no spoilers here, other characters, and all of that built up. And I have to say that, you know, from the very beginning from the very beginning of the series until the very beginning of this book, I actually really hated Nesta and did not like her at all for her actions. I just did not like the way she was. But I wanted to read this book because I know Sarah J Maas is absolutely devious in making you switch allegiances just like that, because, well, for 1 year we were in love with the Tool, if you know, you know. And just like that, Sarah J Maas has really convinced me. This book really convinced me. Nesta's redemption arc is really convincing, I have to say, and I really enjoyed it. I cannot emphasize how much I loved it. That is to say, it's a wonderful book, one of my favorite books now in the ACOTAR series. And after I read this book, I'm like, do I love Nessian more than I love Faisant? So that's a legitimate concern I have. And another thing, I just realized yesterday while I was on Instagram that many people don't know about the bonus chapters, and I actually read them obviously on the internet because I don't have those special editions which feature those bonus chapters. There are two. One bonus chapter is in the point of view of Faisant. We get to know about Rizan and Farah and their story, and then the other point of view, another bonus chapter. There are two bonus chapters. So the other bonus chapter is a story. I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's from Israel's point of view. And let me just say, I'm really excited for Israel's book to come out next because I love that man. And lastly, let me talk about the smut in this book. This was, oh my god. I was reading this book in front of my dad at sometimes, and I would just get so red-faced, and I'm like, Ma! And then my mom would come and she's like, what are you reading? And I said, I just wiggled my eyebrows, and then she was like, she read a lot of Mills and Boons and romance novels, and in her time, she even reads them now. I wouldn't say she liked, but she has read the whole 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, which I haven't. She borrowed them from me, she read them, then I sold the books. But yeah, my mom is quite cool with all of that, and I would describe to her, not the smut scenes, but like the fact that there were some amazing smut scenes, and I was like, you need to read this series, Mom. And I think I'm going to convince her to pick up ACOTAR very soon. Fingers crossed, I hope I'm able to convince her. And I just realized I spent too much of time uh, going gaga over this, but oh my god, I love this book, and I'm going over the fan art, and I'm still hung over this book. So please read it if you haven't. I mean, if you don't want to, I cannot convince you, but if you are thinking that this might not be good, if you think that this is overhyped or anything like that, I think you should definitely give this a try, because it's really good. Once again, fifth book in the series, so I would advise you not to pick this one up directly, rather start with the rest of them. So yeah. And the last book that I read in February was actually, again, another audiobook that I listened to on Storytel, and I really, really liked it. It is called as Lift As You Climb by Viv Groskop, and I thought that this was a very, very empowering read. Like the name suggests, it's about, well, empowering other women as you personally grow, and the book was really amazing. I actually made an IGTV video on it, where I talk more about how I felt about the book and all of that, so you can definitely check it out if you want. I'll again link that as well down below. Overall, I think that was a very good book and very relevant today in terms of the workplace especially, and not even necessarily an office sort of workspace, but in any sphere of life that you are in. Even say, if you are in doing your academics and all of that, there is a constant need for women to push each other up. And this book not this book, but the picture, this book also deals and talks a lot about the word ambition, and how we have added dirty connotations to the word ambition, as if being ambitious is bad. So I definitely don't agree, especially not after reading this book. So I thought this book is a really good perception changer in case you need any. So I would definitely recommend you check it out. And yeah, love that book. So we have reached the end of this video. I really enjoyed talking to you all about all of the books that I read in February, all of the books that I bought in February, and like I said, I loved all of them, all the ones that I have read and all of the ones that I have bought. I loved each and every one of them, and thank you so much to all the publishers who sent me those books. Thank you so much to Josna for unhauling the books, so that I could get it at a decidedly cheaper price, obviously, than Amazon. But yeah, I had great fun, and I'm back. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll put up another video next week. I'll start with the one video per week thing, and then if time permits and if my creative juices are secreted enough, I will create more such videos. So I'm actually also planning on filming a vlog from today onwards, so maybe if that's successful, you'll see that in the future very soon. So yeah, I'll see you very soon. Take care. Peace out. Bye.